We have a note here from some family in Ontario. Greetings and our very best to Sandra and Emily on this special day. We're sorry we cannot be there and hope to see you both in Go Home Bay at some time in the future. Aunt Joan and all the Harrison clan.
Oh, great. Good.
Next up, Sandra's father and my uncle, Bob Duncanson.
All right.
Go for it. You gotta love that. Go for it.
Thank you, Jeff. What you're going to hear tonight is, in part, a variation on the theme. This is the parents' version, or one of the sets of parents' version. You're going to hear some similar themes, but with slightly different eyes that experience it. Before I get there, let me first of all welcome you all on behalf of Sanders' mother, Carolyn, and me, and a special thank you to our friends and our family who've come to Calgary from Ontario, BC, and even New York City to share in this very special occasion. It means a lot to us, and we know it means a lot to Sandra and Emily. We'd also like to thank Sheldon and Trish for showing us true Western hospitality while we've been here in Calgary, and for all of the work that they, and of course Sandra and Emily, have put into making this day so wonderful. Parenting from halfway across the continent has many challenges, and unfortunately we're finding this with one child in Victoria, another in Calgary, and a third in Montreal, promising that she'll never come back to Ontario for any length of time. I guess we're getting used to it, but it's very reassuring and much appreciated by us, Carol and I, that you two have been here for Sandra right from the start. We can't imagine what you must have been thinking when Sandra showed up to your door a few summers ago to visit with you and Emily after 8 weeks of tree planting, having not shaved or washed his clothes. While the clothes were quickly dispatched, we're glad that you didn't toss Sandra out with them. And this is where it starts to get repetitive, but from a parent's eyes. When Sandra first started mentioning Emily on a regular basis, he did refer to her as a best friend from Neuchâtel. Parents are a bit slower, I guess, than some of his friends and Emily's siblings, but we kind of wondered if there wasn't something more going on when we heard about 5-hour phone calls, that's all he would admit to us, between Halifax, where he was at school, and Calgary, where Emily was at school. We clued in a little bit more when Sandra transferred to Queen's in Kingston and Emily transferred to Durham College in Oshawa, but it wasn't until Sandra brought Emily home at Thanksgiving that year that it became abundantly clear that they were now a couple. Since then, we've watched with great pride as Sandra and Emily have started to build their life together. There's no doubt in our minds that Emily brings out the very best in Sandra. On occasion, since he was about 16, we'd mentioned to Sandra that we thought he might make a good lawyer. In response, he made it very clear that this suggestion was a non-starter. And then along came Emily. One day, Sandra called us from Kingston to say that he and Emily had been discussing things, and he had decided to write his LSATs. He asked, "So what do you guys think?" We just smiled to ourselves, bit our tongues, and said, "What a great idea." As many of you know, Sandra and Emily are frighteningly neat and organized. Certainly frightening to those of us like Carolyn and me who aren't. These attributes may have skipped a generation to get embedded in your genes, Sandra, but we sense that Emily has nurtured this side of you. And then there's the matter of style. Emily's excellent fashion sense and eye for design have been a great influence on Sandra. He's come a long way from the boy that we knew, that when presented with a choice of paint color for his bedroom at our Momer home, he opted for white. He's now a young sophisticate in a multicolored, tastefully decorated apartment in Calgary. Thank you, Emily. The importance of marriage has been mentioned elsewhere in today's ceremony, and that Sandra and Emily have come from a heritage of strong marriages. I'd like to add that, in my opinion, the first and most important building block in any successful marriage, and certainly in Carolyn and my marriage, is friendship. When two people can make each other laugh, dry each other's tears, and find pleasure in everyday things in life, just because they're sharing them with each other, they've found a lifelong friend. A marriage built on this foundation is unlikely to fail. What we've seen with Sandra and Emily is every bit of this, including those 5-hour phone calls. And it fills us with great joy. We wish that we could be sharing this ceremony with a few others who remain near and dear to us. And of course, I'm referring to your Martin grandparents and to my mom. They would have been very proud of you today. So with them in mind, and from the depths of our hearts, your mother and I wish you, Sandra and Emily, husband and wife, son and daughter, all of the happiness in the world.
Next up, we have Sheldon Steves.